All right. Hi, everyone. We got a special announcement coming up. So let's watch a short video here.
Are you getting the most out of your vacation rentals? Are you wasting time constantly tweaking your nightly rates? There's a better way with Hostaway. Let's discover how Hostaway's dynamic pricing automates and optimizes your rental rate so you can save time, maximize revenue, and take the guesswork out of pricing. What is dynamic pricing? Drawing from billions of data points across millions of units in real time, Hostaway's dynamic pricing algorithm automatically updates your pricing, optimized for revenue and occupancy. It factors in data like market trends, seasonality, amenities, demand, and your booking window to update your listings with the best rates on a daily basis. With Hostaway's dynamic pricing, you're always in control. You can choose your risk tolerance and define minimum price, minimum stays, gap nights, and more. Want to make an exception for a specific day, holiday, or weekend? You can manually adjust your pricing by date ranges without interfering with your broader strategy. Dynamic pricing will auto-adjust pricing based on how much lead time you have to book, so you don't have to worry about empty rooms or leaving money on the table. And it's all seamlessly embedded in our industry-leading PMS. Setting up dynamic pricing on Hostaway is as easy as one click. After activating dynamic pricing, simply toggle on the listings you want optimized. Once on, pricing will be automatically updated daily for that listing. For each listing, you can also set up min and max pricing limits. On the calendar view, you can view your upcoming pricing at a glance and fine-tune as you like. And there you have it, a more profitable, more efficient way to manage your rental rates. With Hostaway's dynamic pricing, we'll take care of your perfect pricing strategy, all seamlessly embedded within the Hostaway dashboard, so you can focus on what matters most.
So we are launching Hostaway's dynamic pricing. Early this year, we had a bit of internal celebration when we did the math and quickly realized we are the most used vacation rental software on the planet, on Earth. Not on other planets. I don't know any other planets that use vacation rental software, but here on planet Earth, we are the most commonly used software solution. And earlier this year, we did an AI survey among our users on how AI is going to change things. And the number one most interesting AI functionality was indeed dynamic pricing. And that's when we started working on this project that actually has taken us quite a few years. So what is dynamic pricing? Dynamic pricing means adjusting the prices of your rentals based on demand, competition, and other external factors. One of the things that really fascinates me when it comes to vacation rentals is I studied economics in university. And although it wasn't my major, I'm really fascinated by economics. And there's this basic concept of supply and demand. And vacation rentals and short-term rentals, they have a completely unique supply side of things. Because if let's say you're running an airline and you got 10 or you got 100 planes, if demand goes up, you can't just get more planes, because if you want to buy a plane, it's going to take you 5 years before you actually get it. And even then, you only have 101. So what happens with airline tickets is the prices skyrocket. But what happens with big events, especially in cities or in areas that have big events, can be that demand skyrockets. But because of that, people rent out their homes and suddenly supply skyrockets too, which means that pricing vacation rentals is very unique. It's something that needs to be monitored daily, and it's something that is a full-time job for many people, for revenue managers. With dynamic pricing, we allow hosts to maximize the revenue by changing the prices when the demand is high and lower than when demand is low. It also looks at the supply, and it automatically will optimize these prices. Now, this is not news for anyone. 60% of property managers out there already use a dynamic pricing solution, but we believe that what we're bringing to the market is something completely different and very exciting. So We are using billions of data points. Now, if you're wondering where this data is coming from, it's coming from the places that you probably suspect. It's coming from Airbnb, Vrbo, Expedia, Booking.com. There's two interesting aspects that we have here. One of them is that for those who operate in areas where there are hotels or resorts, that data is also included. So quite often, if people travel as a group, maybe to a wedding, they stay at a resort and that resort gets booked out. Now, the people who are attending the wedding, they really want to stay somewhere, but this is what our solution can provide. We can tell you, hey, now it's time to raise the prices because there's a lot of demand in a resort nearby. But let's talk a bit more about why we should use dynamic pricing. First of all, it's about maximizing the revenue. Something that I see a lot of property managers are proud of is when there's a specific long weekend or maybe the New Year's Eve, they're trying to maximize that one night or 2 nights of the year. And then they're proud when they're able to rent it out more expensively than anyone else. Unfortunately, for the homeowner, that doesn't really matter. What matters at the end of the year is how much money did they make? And is it still a good investment? Because if it's not a good investment, they're going to sell their property. And if you're managing it, you don't know. Maybe the new buyer will choose a different property manager or even move in themselves or just keep it empty if it doesn't produce enough. So this solution aims at maximizing the revenue. What it means is that you will be able to earn more every month and throughout the year, regardless of seasonality or individual rates. And that's one of the beauties here is really that it adjusts all the nights with the aim of earning as much as possible. Of course, this saves you a ton of time because instead of manually adjusting rates, you can just have the automatically adjusted prices and you can still make adjustments if you want. And like I said, it's billions of data points. But the one thing that really makes this solution different is that it's all in one. So it's inside the Hostaway dashboard, and you can activate it with just one click. All right. Now, sorry, I forgot to introduce the other members here. We have Maria, our VP of Product, who has been working on this. So we got Josh, our Chief Customer Officer, who has been actively working on launching this for all our customers. We're actually launching it in batches. So I saw some of our users got access already yesterday. Hope you enjoyed it so far. Now I'll hand over to Josh, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Marcus. Yeah, it's an exciting day here at Hostaway for me and the rest of the team here. This is a really big launch for us, right? And the reason why I wanted to chime in here is because it's important that we always continue to live our values, and this is to me a glaring view of that, right? So we have one value here that's really special to everybody here on this call and for the rest of the Hostaway team is our customer success is our success. So when we look into launching a feature and we look into launching anything here at Hostaway, actually, do anything that we do, we look and see how can our customers be successful. And if it makes sense for our customers as far as saving them time or gaining them more money through bookings, then we do that. If it doesn't make any sense for that, we don't even process it past the initial idea part. And so dynamic pricing was a very big ask from a lot of our clients, and to be able to do it in one spot, right? And so over the last year or even longer than that, we've thought about how are we going to do this, and we started to put it into action. And now it's here. Now we can go and click the button and actually do dynamic pricing inside the Hostaway platform. So your success as a property management company means that we'll be successful, and which is quite different from the other softwares in the industry because they rely on board members to run their company. And we rely on our customers to tell us what to do. And so this is just something that really excites me because we came to market with this because of you. And so with the Hostaway dynamic pricing tool, that means obviously that the biggest thing is you're going to get more bookings because you're going to be competitive with pricing, right? I think that's everybody here on this call wants to be successful in business. And that's one of the tools that we know will get you there, right? Operational efficiency, right? We know, and I know quite a few clients that they go and they hire someone to do revenue management, or they spend all of their time doing it, right? So you're able to not hire someone, let the software do it, and just take back your own time. The biggest thing I think here is the unified platform. So instead of having to go click on multiple different tabs, go to different websites, copy and paste here, go to a different website, look at the integration, come back to Hostaway, look at the calendars, make sure everything's right. Everything is inside the Hostaway platform now. You never have to leave the Hostaway platform. It's there. You're able to be competitive, use dynamic pricing without even lifting a finger outside of the platform. So that's less headaches for you having to go to all these different browser tabs. There's a lower risk for error there. Make sure everybody hear me. Yeah, you can. And then a single point of contact. This is huge as well, because if right now you have a problem inside of the Hostaway platform and you're using a third-party integration, you have to go, you can't come to Hostaway and look at our award-winning support, our 24/7 support, the ones that we continue to invest in. You have to go to the third party and ask for support there. And there's not that much we can do. While we strive to answer questions and be that, single source of contact, if you're using a third-party integration, there's only so much we can do, right? We can only look at, kind of the information that we have on our side. So this way you can come to us if there's an issue, or if you have feature requests, right, you can come talk to us about feature requests. We can start adding things in. Now, this is the initial launch of our dynamic pricing. It's going to continue to get better and better, but with that, we need your feedback. So just as we're saying, we have this one single point of contact, we need you guys to continue to offer us feedback on what you'd like to see in this as well. And then I guess finally, it's backed by Hostaway, right? So we completed one of the largest rounds of funding for property management softwares last year. We only have one investor here at Hostaway. We have a lot of good people here at Hostaway. So we're not going anywhere. They're not a fly-by-night company. We've got a lot of security here. And that is, to me, that's a selling point, because I would want to come to Hostaway to have everything, because I know it's not going to just be here one night and go somewhere else the next. So again, I'm excited to be here today and be here with Marcus and Maria to launch this. It's a big day for us. I'm going to let Maria or Marcus continue on, and we're going to do a live demo of this here for you, all of you guys. So now you didn't get to hear the audio and the video, but you'll get to hear Maria, which is just as good.
Right. So thank you, Josh. I think that we have this slide, and hello everyone. I think many of you will know me, others will not know me. My name is Maria. I'm the VP of Product at Hostaway. My job is to bring you the tools that can help you realize all these things we'll be talking about, maximizing occupancy to drive revenue, right? So it's Hostaway, the dynamic pricing tool is precisely built on that premise. So I think that there are going to be some questions as well, and probably people are asking already, what is the data coming from, right? So what is the approach here? So dynamic pricing is basically a AI-driven product, and it's not the AI you hear in the newspapers. It's not the generative AI. It's called machine learning AI, which is basically algorithms that learn based on data, and they can provide recommendations and predictions based on that data. Ours takes data from many different points, many different points. And it takes into consideration everything related to the property. It takes in consideration everything related to the market, to the demand, to the prices and the channels, etc. There are many. I cannot even list it here. So maybe Josh, we go to the next slides. Or yeah, thank you, Ben. That's actually Ben. So what is in store for you for dynamic pricing? As Josh mentioned, this is the first version of the product. We are rolling it out as we speak. Probably some of you already see it in your dashboards. Some others will see it very soon, very soon. We're going to roll it out for our customer base. And this first version of the product allows you to basically get the benefit of the algorithm, the recommendation of the prices, to be able to have a 30-day preview of those prices before you decide to activate the dynamic pricing engine. Decide as well, even before you activate, on your pricing strategy, and I will talk through it a little bit more on the demo. Decide whether you optimize for occupancy, revenue, or both. Also have control tools to make sure that you don't undersell or you're not competitive in the market. And then everything is as easy as activating one click. We also give you the possibility to do manual overrides, right? So if there's something that doesn't work for you on specific days. So basically, what we want to do with dynamic pricing is automate this process. As Marcus mentioned at the beginning, it would be very hard to do these things manually. We want to remove the guesswork as well, because to come to a conclusion of what's the best price, you need a lot of data. And for humans to do that in a short term is not easy. So machines can help us here. But also we want to give you control. We want to put you on the driving seat on your pricing strategy, right? So it's not just a kind of dumb machine that spews out some prices and you have to believe that's right. So if I'm allowed to share my screen, I actually will show you how it looks like, and then I can come back and talk a little bit about the future of dynamic pricing. All right. So can you all see my screen, by the way? Yep. Okay, cool. Right. So these are our dashboards. For those of you that have dynamic pricing already activated, you will see a new menu item here on the left-hand side. It's called dynamic pricing. I'm not showing the landing page, but basically the landing page is just a button and some text that we have there on the value proposition. You click on the button and we'll start the process of gathering the data. This takes some time. I've seen already some questions there. Why is my my dynamic pricing not activated? Well, it's a lot of data that we need to process, right, to provide all these recommendations. So it's not going to happen immediately. It takes some time. But once it's ready, we will send you a notification. And then you can go to this screen and see all of your listings and the initial pricing recommendations that the engine has elaborated for you. So what we'll see here is all this list, all this table. A few things here that you need to understand. Base rates. So these are the actual recommended average prices for the next 365 days. So that's actually a calculation that the engine has already done for you. And for each listings, this would be the average that it thinks is appropriate based on the data. As I mentioned before even activated, you can go and preview. And if at any time, please, if you're not seeing my screen, let me know. You can preview 30 days of data, right? So you can preview 30 days of prices. Let's imagine that, okay, I'm super happy with this. You might be. You can just click here and activate, and that'll be it. That's all you need to do. We immediately populate the prices in the calendar, and those prices will be sent to the channels as well. But again, the recommendation is, of course, again, no one actually knows better your properties and your markets than yourself, I would say. So you have to have the tools to decide on this strategy. And I recommend you decide on this strategy as well, right? So we have different options for optimizing the strategy, actually 2 options. One, you can have a data-driven rates approach, which is basically you allow the machine to make decisions with different level of risk. So the different level of risk is conservative, recommended, or aggressive. Conservative would be lower the risk, so I maximize my occupancy. In the risk, I mean, maybe I'm talking here a little bit more stock market than dynamic pricing, but basically provide me the best price to maximize occupancy. If you think you're in an area or that you can be a little bit more aggressive and push towards revenue versus occupancy, then you would choose an aggressive approach to this. In general, the default and our recommendation, if you're not in the knowledge of those or you haven't decided on which approach to take, is to leave the recommended option, which automatically takes the best of both worlds, okay, and provides the best recommendation possible, trying to maximize occupancy and revenue. All right, so once you decided that, you can still have some more controls to make sure you are within your comfort zone, right? So we have embedded some tools as well already in the product to avoid underselling, but we'll give you some more control here. And one of them is setting minimum price. So setting a minimum price means that for my listing, for instance, I think I click on the first listing. I don't want my pricing to go, or my listing to go below $250, right? So whatever recommendation the engine gives, it will never go below $250. The same you can say for maximum price. You can set a maximum price. So if you think over a period of time or in a particular area, if you go too high, the pricing goes too high, you're going to be run over by competitors because you're not in market. Then you can set a maximum price, and in that case would be something like, I don't know. I'm making up these numbers, please don't quote me in here. But that would be it, right? So I selected my data-driven rates with a recommended approach. I want the best of both worlds. I want to have occupancy. I also optimize for revenue. And I don't want it to go below $250, and I don't want it to be above $550 because I know if I go above that rate, I will not sell. So I will save these settings, and that's it. If I'm happy, I click activate, and we immediately populate the prices in the calendar. Okay. Actually, it takes a couple of minutes, so I cannot show it directly, but it will populate the price in the calendar, and we will update the channels accordingly. There is another approach you can take to your pricing strategy, which is the total control approach, as I call it, which is basically the manual overrides. If I want to put this in, or give you an analogy, what do those two things mean, the data-driven approach and the manual override, is that if you use the manual overrides, you basically imagine you put a car on a highway, right, with 5 lanes in the highway. Typical American thing. I don't have it in Spain, but I drove in one of those in my life, and it was very scary. If you want to drive your car in one lane, right, in that highway, you don't want to move from that lane, then you use the manual override. You use the complete control settings. So that will mean that the algorithm will continue providing pricing recommendations based on your base rates, but it will ensure that you do not move away from that lane. So it will keep in that lane. On the data-driven approach, on the contrary, you're letting the engine decide on which lane your car is going to be, right? But you still have the tools available for you to control whether the car doesn't go into the curb or it doesn't go into another car, which is not good. So if I want to put an analogy, I hope people understand. I hope you guys understood. All right. So again, let's go back to Earth probably a while. If I want to set the base rate here, it's as simple as doing this. I'm making up these prices. I still can control my base minimum price, and I still can control my maximum price. Maximum price is optional, okay? We'll definitely recommend setting a minimum price to avoid underselling, but maximum price is optional as well. So I set this up, and I can have different strategies from different listings. So you can also, it might be in different locations. You have all the knowledge there for you. Click on activate, and that's it. And if when you review prices, or if you know there's going to be a specific date that you check, and maybe the algorithm is not providing the right recommendation, then you can go into the calendar and override that price. So basically, go into the calendar, select a listing in the monthly one or in the multi-calendar one. And let's say this one, for instance, is 100. This is not activated for dynamic pricing, but imagine this was. So 400, this is my price. The algorithm will not take into consideration this day anymore. So it stays on the price that you overread in the calendar. So that's it. So if we go back to the presentation, I think I haven't forgot anything, but going back to the presentation, I can talk a little bit about the future. Let's go back one slide, Sven. 2 slides. Yeah, thank you. All right, so what is coming up? This is the first version of dynamic pricing. And the team is already working on giving you more ability to control and make decisions before actually activating the pricing, right? So we're going to give you a 2-year price preview for full control before syncing prices and allow you to, optimize prices in that calendar as well. We're going to expose for you far future premium settings. Far future, if I explain this for anyone that doesn't know what that means, is basically a kind of a control tool to not priced too high in the future. So basically the algorithm creates or adds a little bit of a premium, not too high, for very far dates in the future where there is not a lot of data to make a good recommendation or the best recommendation there. And this is to stop from underselling, okay? Then you will have some revenue management tools as well here. Last minute discount settings, seasonality adjustments, we can factor settings as well. So you can also establish your strategy in more fine detail and you can tailor it to your needs. And then also one important thing is managing occupancy through gap night settings. So all of that is going to come very soon. So I think we're going to have another webinar for that. I'm sure we're going to have another webinar for that. So keep tuned. And that's it. That's all I have to show today. Thank you, guys.
Let's move forward. So this brings us to a couple of sneak peeks here. We are the true all-in-one solution for vacation rentals. We added smart locks last year, and now we're adding dynamic pricing. I wanted to highlight two exciting things that are coming soon: our Quickbooks integration and insurance. We also have a direct booking website, payments, and of course the PMS and channel manager. Guidebooks you see here is grayed out. That means it's on our roadmap. So we are eventually going to bring out guidebooks for the guests. But if you're waiting for QuickBooks or for insurance, then that's coming hopefully very, very soon. All right, now let's move forward to the Q&A section. So I see a lot of technical questions. Maybe we can start with those, Maria.
Yeah, I see some questions already on the future features that we're going to bring. Yes, so basically what we want to give is more ability to fine tune those over periods of time on the prices, right? So yes, someone asking, can you exclude Christmas? Yes, soon you will be able to exclude Christmas, right? Because you will be able to provide prices per season as well. So a lot more that we're going to be doing from now to the end of the year to make sure that we give all that control and that ability to customers. And by the way, it will come pretty soon, but it will come continuously, I would say.
Yeah, there's one question that a lot of people are asking is how is the quality different from other solutions out there? I would say like this: if you have more than one properties, and I would say most of you have more than one properties, take a handful of properties and that are similar. You know, don't take one 3-bedroom villa on the beach with a pool and then a 1-bedroom condo that's 1 hour away. No, take similar type of properties and put keep half of them on your current solution and try out Hostaway on the other half. And then after a couple of months, you'll probably see the difference in revenues. Yeah, that's it's very easy to test the quality here. Do keep in mind that if you're already fully booked for the next 2 months and you turn it on now, obviously those bookings, they came in before you turn it on. So you'd have to wait a bit longer. But if your calendar is open, maybe you're launching new listings, launch a few of them with our solution and a few with your existing solution if you have one. That's an easy way to test it. Connie here is asking, can you cancel at any time? I believe the answer is yes. You can turn it on, and like I said earlier, you don't have to turn it on for all the listings. You can choose exactly which of your listings you want to use it for. There's a few questions here. John is asking about highly seasonal rates, and David is asking about if you can exclude Christmas. Maybe Maria, you could address those.
Yep, this was just addressed in a moment ago, and it's in the roadmap for the second version of this product is to be able to set prices seasonally as well. And that's
all right.
As well. Yeah.
Then anonymous attendee is asking, will we be able to see historical data? So we are, of course, using, the data set already is including historical data. So we have been collecting this data for, like I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, for years to make sure that we know exactly how does, for example, Christmas or New Year's or 4th of July perform in your market. So that's already included. But Yeah, we don't show the data. We show the outcome, which is how much should you charge in order to make the maximum amount of revenue every single month of the year.
Yeah. Someone is asking about minimum and maximum price per night or total price for a rental. No, it's per night. So that's on the night level.
There's a couple of questions here, for example, from Amy and someone else. Amy and Amy. That's why I was confused. Amy Haber and Amy Smelly. So what about very remote areas? So because of the way the data is collected, it's based on like Maria showed a slide of different amenities that impact the price. But of course, location and the timing of the booking, for example, how early you're booking. Are you booking for next weekend or 1 year out? The supply and demand impact that. And there are areas where, let's say, if you have a property that's unique, let's say it's a very small town and there's 10 Airbnbs, but they're all basement units in others' houses, and you have the only house there that someone can rent fully, and there's no other houses within a 1 hour drive, probably the data set just isn't conclusive enough, because the type of customers that or guests that would stay in the only entire home in that 1 hour drive radius, yeah, it's a different customer set, and there's nothing you can compare to except your property. But if you're in a small area where you have a property that's could host the same guests as 10 other properties, that should be good enough for the data set to work. So it really depends on how remote you are referring to. But in general, if you have a property where there's in an area where there's nothing else available in Airbnb and there's no hotels in the area either, then probably this is not there's just not enough data to draw a good conclusion, other than your own booking data, of course, which we will get access to.
And just to add to that, Marcus, you will not have to guess that. We will let you know. And that's actually learning as well for the algorithm. So it will improve in the future based on that as well.
And David has a good technical question here. Now his pricing has a dozen different seasonal prices up and down all year. If I turn on dynamic and wish to go back to my manual pricing, do I have to input all the dozen prices again? Good question there, Maria.
Well, if it turns dynamic pricing right now, we will override what it has in the calendar. Yes. So what we're trying to bring in the next update, it's more control over that as well. So you will have full visibility of the pricing recommendation, and then you can work on those.
Yeah, Chris has a question here about what data is used. Is it Canada-wide? Because Greater Vancouver is much different market than, for example, East Coast. We're talking double their prices. Yes, it's definitely not that wide at all. It's actually very, very specific. So not only are we talking about your neighborhood, remember, this is data from publicly available sources like Airbnb, like Vrbo, Booking.com, Expedia, and hotels. So we are going to be, the data is looking at your comparables. So just because every 1-bedroom condo is rented out, it doesn't mean that there's high demand for a 7-bedroom house. So we're going to be looking at that as well. And if you have unique amenities, that of course plays an impact. If you have a unique location, that has an impact as well. But yeah, like Maria said, we will tell you if your area is too remote for us to come up with a good solution. But yeah, overall in travel, whatever happens somewhere else, whether somewhere else is 1 hour drive away or 8-hour plane ride away, like going from Canada to Canada, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you got a property in a specific location, and we need to set the right price so that it gets rented out at the maximum revenue for every month of the full year. So we are going to be comparing to the closest comparables. All right. Do we have any more questions that we didn't answer? I think we answered quite.
Yeah, I think that, Marcus, the one thing that I'm seeing come up quite often, and I want to get that out there, is we've got our customers saying, we already have a dynamic pricing software. Can we cancel it and go with Hostaway? That's a business decision, right? I think that you should do some testing, like Marcus was just saying, and see if you want to do that. we're providing the option, right? We think it's going to be less of a headache for you as a customer to use dynamic pricing integrated into your property management software where you spend all of your time. This is we're really excited about this. We've done a lot of work and we've talked to a lot of users, and we've released this for you to get more bookings and to handle your dynamic pricing internally. So we feel it will work for you, and you'll be able to use Hostaway besides any other dynamic pricing services out there. That being said, it is a business decision, right? We're a property management software. We're doing this add-on because we've heard the need to have that. So we'll continue to be the best property management software out there, and we encourage you to look for what's going to provide you the best option when it comes to dynamic pricing. And we just have that option now as well. So I know that's a little bit around the ways when it comes to should we cancel or not. I think that you test it out and see, is it going to work for your business or not? And we'll continue to build onto it. But there are other options out there, and that's the good thing about free markets. You can make that decision yourself. We're just glad to be in the same market.
Yeah, I'm excited about what's coming up now because I think a lot of the comments here are in line very much with our thinking. But I also see very interesting comments from others. So thank you very much. Keep posting them. It's very good. It's a very good learning. Thank you.
All right, let's check the Q&A section. Do we have? Oh, there were a couple of questions here about last-minute pricing. So I can maybe answer that. That the algorithm already adjusts for the booking. It's called the booking window. That means how far out is someone booking. So the price that it suggests will be different whether, let's say, for the same weekend, whether someone is looking 3 months out, 1 month out, or looking 3 days out. Whether it will be higher or lower, once again, depends on all the other properties. Last-minute bookings can be fiddly in that way that if someone has to stay somewhere and everything else is rented out, they're going to choose your place regardless of the price. But on the other hand, if other options are available and they're better and cheaper, have more bedrooms, better amenities, then the only way you're going to get a booking is by a lower price. But yes, the algorithm definitely takes into account last-minute pricing. All right. Well, there seems to be no other unanswered question. Jennifer, yes, there will be a copy of the recording. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Hopefully, you'll get to try the dynamic pricing of Hostaway.